Hey, howdy, hey, everybody, and welcome into a very special version of the Nick and Nash podcast. As always, I'm your host, Matt Nash, and with me, as always, is my co host, Nick Calvacca. And today, especially, we have Michael Bittner out of Tennessee. This is exciting. Michael, how are you doing today, man?
I'm fantastic. Glad to be on the show.
Thank you so much for coming on. And, normally I would ask Nick how he's doing, but frankly, we don't care today because we have somebody far more special. So, the main buzz around the NCAA right now is the changes to the name, image, and likeness rules. How has that affected you personally as a college athlete?
Yeah, it's honestly a really unique opportunity that we all get to experience, and obviously we're only a week into this thing, but just being able to almost brand ourselves the way that we want to be branded, and reach out to people and try new experience, meet a lot of different companies, people that own different businesses, and it's kind of just a way to get yourself out there, not just while we're in college, but far more into the future, trying to set us up for success after we're done playing this game. So it's a really cool opportunity that I think everybody should be taking advantage of, whether it's, D1 all the way through D3, NAIA, whatever it may be. And, it's a really special opportunity that I think we're all looking forward to.
Yeah. Uh, Michael, I got to tell you, you know, before this, we used to try to get in touch with athletes all the time, and usually it's a goose egg, for the most part. A lot of people, kind of stay in their own lane and, kind of do their own thing. But now, the floodgates have been opened. My phone, I woke up yesterday morning, I had six new emails about guys wanting to come on the show, and it's awesome. I'm happy for you guys because obviously myself and Matt, we're sports guys. We're rooting for you guys to be treated the right way, quite frankly. So it's definitely a new look. And if I may just say this, Matt might get mad at me. I want my video game back. I want my NCAA 2021. So I'm I'm
Absolutely.
I'm rooting for it.
Absolutely. I think that is something that ever since we even, got to college football, that's been a main thing that we like to joke around in the locker room about is like, we want to see ourselves, in a video game, play as ourselves, play as different people that we kind of played against in high school and stuff. So that's definitely a big topic that we've talked about, and hopefully we'll get this thing rolling. Yeah.
All right, well, I believe you signed with. Who did you sign with once the rules passed on July 1st?
It's
Uh,
barstool athlete.
You signed with Barstool. Okay.
yeah.
Yes.
How was that? What can you walk us through the process that this has never been done before? Can you walk us through the process of signing with not only just a company but Barstool of all companies?
Yeah, well, it was actually very simple. It's not as complex as you might think. So, I woke up one morning. I think it was July 2nd. So it was like the second day of the NIL, and I saw. I woke up kind of early. Saw that Barstool was trending. I'm a big follower of Barstool. I love a lot of different types of podcasts that they put out. I saw that they were doing this Barstool athletes, and that was before they had this application that you can go through. So I tried to get on the gun a little bit early. I sent their Barstool Athletics an email, kind of describing who I was. I said I'd love to be a part of the team. And about I think it was a day after, they sent me an email saying you're in, sent us a picture. And then after that, it took about probably a few hours for me to get posted. And once I got posted, it was nuts. I think I gained like 100 followers on Instagram. I probably gained 60 or 70 on Twitter. So just this brand new branch of Barstool that just started a few days has already got me so much exposure, which is pretty much the whole thing about this athletics is trying to get our names out there, kind of brand ourselves. Because once they posted me, not only did you guys reach out, but Revitalite, which is a Barstool drink. It's kind of like Pedialyte. It's like their Pedialyte. They reached out. It
Okay.
was like, going to send you a case of Revitalite, and let us know what you think. So it's been crazy, and it's been a fun experience.
And that's in a week.
It just in one short week. And for somebody, I'm a walk on. I'm a preferred walk on at Tennessee. So I'm not like a big name guy. I've never played. So even guys that are do the behind the scenes work that doesn't have as much exposure as, say Spencer Rattler at Oklahoma, who's doing deals with Canes. We still get the same opportunities to go out and brand ourselves with people that we want to associate with. And obviously Barstool is, a huge figure out in the world now. So it's a pretty awesome opportunity. And I can't thank Barstool enough for what they're doing with all the athletes, from all the different schools.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. I mean, Barstool is let's just be honest. Everything Dave Portnoy touches seems to turn to gold. I mean, he's one of the most successful business guys I know, or I don't know him personally, but that I can think of offhand. The company just, it seems like one day they're just a podcast. The next day they have their own sports book in Colorado. The next day they have their own athlete agency, for college athletes. So, and I mean, I even noticed on Instagram that the Barstool Athletics page that I guess has been posting you guys, saying welcome, they got cut off.
Yeah.
So because Matt, I don't know if you know this, they've been posting so many new athletes like every day. Instagram reported them as a spam account. That's how many like people are. This is like the next big thing, and it seems like they're just getting started. Um, we don't have to. That's all I really have to say about Barstool is like it's just people always talk about, oh yeah, like do something funny you could get on Barstool, but like it's so much more than that. They dive so deep into all these different things. Like
Yeah.
it's such a broad company, and
Yeah. And kind of expand on that. Dave kind of sent out like a mass email to, I guess, all of us athletes kind of describing, he's like, hey, like, look, we now have 15 members on this staff that are trying to work with getting everybody posted. And he was kind of laying it out, what his goals are. He's like, dude, we're just getting started. Like right now, yeah, we're going to send you guys, some merch, the rep, whatever. But he's like we're going to try to like make this a serious part of this company and expand it. So, I know he's got some things in the works, is what he said in the email. And so, that's the one thing I like about Barstool is, when they do something, they do it all the way. They're not going to stop until, they pretty much get stopped or they've run out of ideas. So, right now, I'm getting merch sent to me, and that's great. But I'm looking forward to like what's in the future, because I feel like, this is just 1 week into the NIL. Who knows what this is going to do in the next, 3 years while I'm in college. Yeah. So it's a really cool opportunity. And obviously, because Barstool posted me, I've gained followers and I've gained a little bit of interest. And who knows where my brand can go from here. So it's a really cool experience that we're all part of right now.
And I'll let Matt take it. But just to your point, 1 week for the Barstool Athletics page, I'm looking at it now, 164,000 followers.
Nuts.
I mean, that's after a week. We've been doing this show how long? Where's our 164,000 followers?
Since the end of May, 3 times a week.
So, congratulations to you. You joined, you joined a great company. Is that what we would even address it as? A company, I guess, an agency, whatever. You struck gold. Good for you, and good luck to you moving forward with them.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you mentioned that there was a little bit of stuff in the works. Is there anything that you're allowed to preview for us, or is that still? Do you know, first of all, and if you do know, is it under wraps?
I'll give you kind of like a brief layer of what the email was. So it was kind of just describing. He's like, hey, like, this thing started out kind of as, a very small thing, and then it kind of blew up. And he's like, started with like 2 people working, get everybody posted. Now there's 15. And, in this email, he's like, hey, we're going to get you guys merch. And he said that he had a call with Chipotle. So maybe something with Chipotle's in the works. He just sent us something brief. So he's like, this is just the start of it. So Chipotle might be in the works of, working with us, with all those athletes. So hopefully we'll get another follow-up email kind of describing where it's going from here. But, it's a patient game. Like I said, we're just a weekend. So, I'm just excited for what's already happening, and we're going to take our time and figure it out from there.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that concludes our questions about name, image, and likeness. So now we're going to start asking you questions about other stuff, just about you, and if you're okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I had one question. Um, I did a little bit of digging, not to
Yep.
be weird or anything, but you went to Elder High School in Cincinnati, Ohio, an all-male Catholic college preparatory high school.
Yep.
What what was the shock like when you got to college and there were girls?
Well, it's not that crazy. Um, growing up in Cincinnati, it's kind of divided up in kind of two main groups. Obviously, you have like the Catholic schools, and then you have the public schools. And I went to a Catholic grade school, but that was co-ed. So I went to school for 8 years with girls in school, and then when I went to Elder, um, we have a sister school right next to us called Seton High School, which is an all-girls school. So, yeah, I went to school with all boys and we're all
Okay.
high school, but it's not that crazy. Like
Okay.
we could take classes over at Seton if Elder didn't take it. So, and obviously they're right next to us. So like during lunch, we'd be outside, they'd be outside, we could, talk to them or whatever. But honestly, it might sound kind of weird that I went to an all male high school to some people, but it was probably the best thing to happen because I mean, when you go to school with a bunch of dudes, like there's no drama. You don't have to worry about what you look like in the morning. You just go do your business and then you go play sports after. Like it's one of the best things, and the relationships that you make there as friends is I feel like so much tighter than what a lot of people experience in high school because there's cliques and there's different things that go on in co-ed high schools, and not to like shame co-ed high schools, obviously they're great, but just being with all your friends,
It's
you
a
create,
brotherhood.
yeah, and that's exactly what it is. That's kind of our
Yeah.
motto. So it was a great time. People obviously can kind of make fun of me for it, make some mean jokes, but no, I'm pretty thick skinned, so it's a wild experience. But coming to college down south, it's definitely a culture shock because I'm from Cincinnati, which is kind of the Midwest,
New
kind of,
York.
yeah. We have a different type of sense of humor. I'm very sarcastic, dry humor, and people down here, they have that Southern hospitality, that Southern charm, and you kind of have to, you know, be careful with how you're breaking the ice with people. So definitely a culture shock. I've started to turn into a Southern guy. I guess I could be y'all now, sadly. I,
That is not sad. That is a great thing.
It's in my
yeah,
vocabulary too, man. I mean, not to cut you off, the culture
yeah,
shock is just I was at CVS when I first got down to
yeah,
Tuscaloosa, and in New York, it's you're in, you're out of the store. There's no like communication, nothing. I'm online and I get to the counter, and the lady is like, "Oh, how are you?" And I was like, "Good. How are you?" And she's like, "Good. So how's your day?" And like, I look
yeah,
behind me, there's a line. I'm like, "Are you gonna like?" Are we doing this? We're having a conversation right here, like, and everyone waiting, like, it's just no rush, no problem. It's awesome. I'm not putting it down. I think it's great. I think it's a
oh,
lot. It's a happier way of life.
exactly. And it's, you know, people make, one of my best friends on the team, he's from Atlanta. He's from Douglasville, Georgia. And, we always like to bring up things that we say differently. I say pop where I'm from. I don't say,
Hmm.
so I get a lot of, crap for saying pop. Apparently I say bagel weird. I don't know.
No, you're one of these people. All right, I
No,
have a bunch of
no,
friends from Wisconsin. All right, they
bagel.
say some
Bagel.
of them say bagel. At least you don't say like. Please tell me you don't say like flag instead of flag.
Yeah, flag.
Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. You're not.
Yeah. So it's definitely a culture shock. People say things differently, but that kind of just makes me who I am. Like I said, I'm a very sarcastic person. So, um, I had to be careful when I first got down here. I tried to make it a goal of mine. I knew I was gonna be, friends with my teammates, but I kind of wanted to reach out to, the normal student population and become friends with those people as well. And the best way to do that is, kind of break the ice with a joke. But my humor is a lot different than a lot of other people, so I had to be careful of how I used it in certain situations.
So, what was your welcome to the South moment? What was the
Oh,
moment when you said, "Oh man,"
oh,
like Nick's
geez.
CVS story?
Yeah. I don't know. I have a few. Um, well, see, I don't know.
You didn't show
I,
up wearing overalls on your first day, did you?
no,
Like, I
no.
had a friend from Ohio who did that in 8th grade, and he was stunned when everyone was wearing button downs and
Well,
chinos.
so I think when I'm still this way though. When you first go out, people down here, they like to dress up. They like to be a little bit preppy. They like to dress nice and stuff like that, and that's just not who I am. So like if we're ever going out, you know, you know how college kids go out. I'll be wearing like, if it's like in the winter, I'm wearing like a hoodie like this and like some like joggers, where like people are wearing like, jeans, or, like nice slacks and like a button down and a flannel and stuff like that. And I'm like I don't know. So like, people kind of look at me like I'm dressing like a little bit of a scrub, I guess.
That's him.
Cool. But another thing is like I love wearing hoodies. I'm from the north, so I guess it's a little bit cooler up there, but it'll be like 90 degrees and I'll be walking to class in a hoodie and people are looking at me like I'm crazy. But that, and then my time down in Tuscaloosa, I have a friend that plays volleyball down there. I visited her. I didn't travel with the team my freshman year, so we went down when we played Bama down there. Some of us walk-ons went down to visit the game, and we're walking to the game, and I think this just kind of shows how passionate SEC fans are.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah.
Uh-oh.
We're walking to the game. I mean, it's like me and like two of my teammates, and there's like this 50-year-old Alabama dad with his like 10-year-old son cussing us out, flicking us off, and I'm like, dude, like you have like a 10-year-old son, like you don't care that he's here. So that was kind of like an eye opener. I'm like, all right, these fans down here are nuts. Like, I mean, in a good way. I mean, in a good way. They're very passionate about what they do. But yeah, I've had some crazy experiences with my Southern friends. It's been an eye opening thing. But I'm glad I'm down here. I want to change it for the world.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if I may, what is your what is your story? Because we did research on you.
Yeah.
I see here that in high school you led your team to the quarterfinals, correct, of the state.
Yeah.
Um, you won the GCL Player of the Year award in 2018.
Yep.
And I also see that you had a lot of offers from FCS schools. I have Butler, Dayton, Valpo.
Yep.
So I guess what is your story? How did you land in Knoxville, and how did you know this is home?
Yeah. So it's pretty. For me, it's a crazy story because growing up, I was a really good baseball player, and I
And
thought
I saw that you were a 3-sport athlete, correct?
basically I played football, basketball, baseball pretty much my whole life, all through high school. And when I started becoming good at baseball, like towards like my later days in grade school, I was like, yeah, I want to go play in the MLB. I love baseball so much, and pretty much throughout high school, that's kind of how I mean, I was a good football player. My freshman year, I played quarterback on the freshman team. My sophomore year, I played on varsity. I was a wildcat quarterback my sophomore year. So I went in, pretty much ran the ball in a package, played a little bit of a slot receiver, and then my year, the first 4 games, I did the same thing, and then our starting quarterback at the time got hurt, so I hopped in at starting quarterback, and then I kind of went on a tear and won the job. And then obviously my senior year, I had a great senior year. We lost in the quarterfinal. Well, in our second round of the playoffs, I tore my PCL my senior year, so I didn't get to play in that quarterfinals game.
Oh wow!
Pretty much all throughout high school, I thought I wanted to go play baseball, and it wasn't really till my senior year that I got noticed for football. And I went, I visited Butler, and then I started getting a few preferred walk-ons from like Louisville, Cincinnati, Tennessee, obviously Boston College. So, when those started coming in, I always wanted to go play at the highest level. I, believed in myself. I felt like I kind of got chipped when I got hurt in the playoffs. I felt like that was a really big time for me. So, getting hurt hurt some of those offers, I guess. And playing 3 sports, I didn't go to many camps, which looking back, I probably should have.
Yeah, I
but
hear you.
really, when I started visiting colleges, I came down here kind of just looking for school because I was like, I don't know if I want to play in college. So I was like looking at places that I'd be okay with just like going to school at. And I came down here, visited here one time, loved it, and then I came down on a visit for football. After I got my preferred walk on, they showed me the facilities, and that's kind of like when it hit me. I was like, yeah, this is where I want to go. And I could try to make it a goal of myself I want to get away from home a little bit, go experience something new, but also play in the toughest league because I want to, prove people wrong that I do belong in this league. I can make it at the highest level. So it's kind of a chip on my shoulder. I'm not a flashy guy. I don't like to, put my burdens out on people, but it's definitely a reason why I'm here is to prove everybody back home or, that have watched me play that, I do belong here. Some people, don't think I do belong here, but
yeah,
my brand is trying to, prove my younger self right and the doubters wrong. So,
yeah, good for you because, hey, no, with all respect to those programs, you go from Butler, Valpo, and Dayton to the SEC. Like you said, you're in the best league. It's time now. If you haven't already proven them wrong, because let's face it, they should be. Anyone who was doubting you should look in the mirror, this morning and say, "Wow, I was wrong." You're an SEC football player. It doesn't matter. I told my buddy in Tuscaloosa this. He was on the practice squad for Alabama. I said, buddy, you're an SEC football player. It doesn't
Absolutely.
matter if you're the starting quarterback or you're on the practice squad. You've made it. I'm sorry. Let's face it. You've made it. I can't play SEC football. Matt, can you? So, if we can move on, how is it, and I'll let Matt do a question after, but I just need to know while we're on this topic. So you come in as a quarterback.
Yeah.
What is it like now transitioning to a wide receiver as far as maybe the weight room, as far as kind of, your preparation for the season? How does this change now?
Absolutely. Well, so it's kind of a crazy story on how it happened. So my freshman year, I tried to make a goal of myself to be the scout team quarterback because that's a pretty big deal. You're going up against first team defense. And I actually got that job. I was a scout team quarterback my freshman year. And that's under Pruitt. So I played, 2 seasons under Coach Pruitt.
Yeah.
So after my freshman year, we had a decent season, won the Gator Bowl down in Jacksonville, and then we go into spring ball. We had 2 practices during spring ball, and then we all got sent home for COVID. And during that spring, a lot of our receivers were hurt, so we didn't have enough guys to go with, the third team at slot receivers. And, I'm a quarterback. I know the offense. I know what to do. And I'm a decent athlete. So I was like, I can go run, slot receiver if you guys need me to. So I went out and, ran some slot during those first 2 spring practices, did a decent job and whatever. We all got sent home for COVID reasons. And the whole summer, that whole, end of spring into the summer, I'm in the quarterback room. I'm, learning the playbook as a quarterback. My coach is sending me workouts to do as prepping to be a quarterback still. And the first day that we come back on campus, after we get back from COVID, I walk in the quarterback room and he's like, "What are you doing in here?" And I'm like, "What, am I like not a quarterback anymore?" He's like, "No, you're my receiver room." So, that was kind of like a shock to me. I was like, I had this whole, 5-month break. I could have been trained to be a wide receiver. But obviously there was some miscommunication when in the receiver room, and I know my role. I'm going to do what the coaches asked me to do. And, obviously I love playing quarterback. That's always what I grew up doing. But, the team's needs come first. And if they need me at receiver, then I'm going to go do it. So that's kind of how
hands.
I do. I like to think I do. So yeah, it's been a crazy change. Obviously learning the game as a quarterback and learning the game as a wide receiver is 2 very different things. As a receiver, it's more crafty. You work on your craft, stuff like that. Where as a quarterback, you kind of learn the playbook in a different way. You kind of learn it conceptually, know what everybody's doing. And now that I get to focus on just one position instead of knowing what the offensive line, where I need the running back at, all this stuff, the game is slowed down to a sense. But yeah, it's been fun. Obviously, I think the wide receivers are probably the funniest group on our team. We have some very, very good characters that mix match very well. I think if you ask anybody on our team, they would probably say us or the DBs are probably the funniest group. But it's been a fun time. I mean, I've enjoyed my time here and looking forward to it, honestly.
Yeah, that I actually was gonna ask about the unique perspective that the former quarterback in you gets to put on this, but you actually answered that for me. So
Yeah,
I'm trying to come up with another question here. You stole my thunder a little bit, man.
you're good. You're good.
All right. Well, I'll say this. So you mentioned how the game has slowed down a little bit for you.
Yeah.
Do you now, here we go, like this. When you were a quarterback, were there
Mm.
things that you noticed that your receivers did that you didn't like that you now get? Like, was there like any kind of like revelation where you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's why?
Well, I still like to think that I have a quarterback mind when I'm playing receiver, so I still see things differently than probably the other receivers do. But I mean, definitely when you're running a route and because as a quarter, like as a wide receiver, you're on the move, so you are seeing things differently than what a quarterback sees standing out in the pocket. So there would be times where I'm running routes and like I'm gonna bend it a little bit flatter instead of taking it higher because of safety, coverage, whatever.
Mm.
So the things that I see running a route and what the quarterback might see from his perspective don't mix and match, and it's all repetition. Like, all right, we're gonna get this look probably 10 times during practice. If we can complete it 7 out of 10 times on that look, we know that we're on a pretty good page. But if we're only completing, 2 of the 10 against a certain look, then there's something that we need to figure out. So the big thing is communication. Say like after like a set of 6 plays, really what the quarterbacks and the receivers do, we kind of go off on the sideline. We kind of talk about what we saw on certain plays and try to get on the same page. So it's not like there's certain things that they do. It's just more like reactive, that you try to understand. And each guy's different. Different guys run faster, taller, come out of their breaks differently. But it's more just getting on the same page and being able to communicate in a healthy way instead of like, why did you do this? Like, you're supposed to do that. Being open and hearing them and kind of just reacting to one another.
So, since you were a quarterback and you said that obviously you prepared differently and whatnot, while you are in the middle of a play, sometimes like you mentioned how, um, so you mentioned that
Sorry
you,
about that.
no, you're good, you're good. You mentioned that you will like you'll see things and you'll kind of all right, that safety's there. I'm gonna bend the route a little bit more flat so he can't come down and get it. I'm gonna do this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
Do you find that you will do things to make the job easier for your quarterback as well? Like, instead of just like basically what's developing in the play, you'll also say, I'm gonna do this extra thing so that I make sure that he knows what I'm doing.
Yeah. See, you want to do that. You want to make it easier, but they have a certain way of their offense works. They want things to be precise. So if you kind of tail away from that, that there's going to probably be, some backlash from it. And it really comes back to that communication. And you throw your coach in there and be like, hey, like, if I'm dropping my, weight on my third step instead of my fifth, then like he knows that my route's gonna be a little bit shorter. I saw that the corner was bailing. I can get the ball earlier. It's just all communication based. And there's definitely times when you do it like instinctively. You don't purposely do it. You just do it because you think it's gonna work better. And so, like I said, it's just kind of going back and watching film, being in the film room with the quarterbacks and your coaches is a huge thing. And that's something that's totally different than high school football. That I think people don't understand is like, every day, we're in the meeting rooms, we're watching film from the last practice. Where in high school, you don't really film practices that much. I mean, you might do it every once in a while, but for the most part, you're watching film on your opponent at huddle. But now it's like everything that you do, like every drill, every rep, every minute of practice is filmed, and you can go back and evaluate everything that you do, and then you can get on the same page. And it's a huge jump, and it's been such a cool experience because not only do I get to learn from my own reps, I get to watch all my other teammates reps and maybe pick up on something that I didn't see watching live.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Now, excuse me. Now, you don't have to say too much because obviously, I guess we're not really sure yet what's going to happen. But new head coach, right?
Yep.
Coach Upel, is that how we pronounce it?
Hypel, yep.
Hypel. Coach Pruitt went 16-19 at Tennessee. It is what it is. Hey, it's the SEC. Obviously, competition is extremely difficult.
Toughest conference in college.
What's that?
Toughest conference in college. Best conference in college.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
SEC, baby. To the
So,
top.
now I guess you might not have an answer for this yet. But if so, what is the new message? What is coach's message to you guys, and kind of just getting you guys to believe in each other and to, look for success this upcoming season in this new regime of Tennessee football?
Yeah, absolutely. So our new motto is it's EATS. So it's
Okay.
effort, toughness, and smarts. And that's but the big thing that we've been harping on is accountability, because if you can't hold each other accountable without the coaches, then this program's going nowhere. And so we're trying to hammer that in everything that we do, whether it's school, meetings, nutrition, diet, whatever it may be, holding each other accountable so that the coaches don't have to chase us around and do that for us. That's a huge thing, and that it becomes a brotherhood. That's another part of the thing that we want to say is, like, this is a brotherhood. Like,
Yeah.
Through thick and thin, we might fight a little bit, but we have to be able to trust each other, hold each other accountable. And so that's kind of been a big motto since he got here in the spring, or I guess back in the winter, after the whole scandal went down. And it's been a really good, smooth transition. I think a lot of us have bought into the process, and we're working every day to get 1% better, going 1-0 on the day, as we like to say. And it's it's a process. Going through a coaching change is never easy.
Mhm.
We've made great strides, and I think we're light years ahead of where we were when they first came in. And so, like I said, we're going to just try to get better every day, and hopefully get this thing rolling as soon as possible.
And if I could take another one, Matt, as Matt, do you mind?
I
No.
mean, I
As
took
far-
two just then, so.
as far as you go, Michael, um, as far as like the depth chart, because according to my notes, you guys are losing 12 to 14 starters as a whole. Obviously,
Yep.
offensively and defensively. So as far as the depth chart, where do you kind of see yourself, fitting in with this team? And what do you see as your role with this team, if you could, if I may?
Yeah. Absolutely. Like I said, being in the wide receiver room, it's definitely a learning curve for me. And the coaches know, my background too, so it's nothing new. And I'm going to do whatever they ask me to, whether that's being on the scout team again, or getting reps in the game. Who knows? We haven't got to fall camp yet, where everything kind of starts to kick in. But for me personally, like I said, I want to improve my craft, obviously every day, trying to get better. And then special teams. As a quarterback, I never got to play special teams just because I was a quarterback. But I'm 6'2", about 215. I'm a pretty decently big guy, and I'm a football player. And that's how I like to describe myself. I'm a football player. I'm not afraid to hit people.
Yep.
So getting those opportunities on special teams is going to be fun for me, because in high school I didn't get to do it, except for I was on Hans' team when I was a quarterback. I was on Hans' team, but being able to
So
run
you
down.
do have hands. There you
Wait.
go.
Yeah.
The
yeah,
hands
man.
team is a quarterback. What?
Yeah. It was nuts. It was nuts.
So you're comfortable, I guess. You're comfortable with the switch. You're comfortable in the wide receiver room.
Absolutely. It's been fun, and like I said, I'm looking forward to every opportunity that I get, making everything count. So we'll see.
Excellent answer. Excellent answer. That was good. I saw what you did there. You navigated that well.
Thank you.
That was nice. That was nice. So now I have to ask, what's up?
I like to practice in my head. I had a few thoughts of what you guys were going to ask me, so I've been practicing in the shower or whatever.
I
know how
mean,
to-
Coach, and then I'll let you go. But Coach Heupel,
Hype.
Heupel.
Yeah.
Coach Heupel, he's very successful, especially
Yeah.
offensively.
Yeah.
That's where he makes his name for himself. He's an offensive minded coach. He's a winning coach from UCF. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Tennessee. I'm not looking too much forward to it. Don't come into Tuscaloosa and beat us. But I don't want to say I don't want you to go undefeated. But no, I'm just kidding. I'm looking forward to what you guys are doing. I'm looking forward to this upcoming season, and good luck to you and good luck to Coach. But Matt, I'll let you hop back in here.
All right.
For sure.
So this is the most important question we will have
Okay.
asked today. Okay. So in Tuscaloosa,
Yeah.
we have a player named Slade Bolden.
Yeah.
Scrappy white guy, plays slot receiver. Occasionally we put him in at Wildcat. We call it the Slade Cat. You get put in at Wildcat. What is it called?
Oh man, that's a really good question.
Is it like the Bit Cat, the Bittner Cat, the Mike Cat? What do you have like a nickname you go by on the team?
Definitely not Mike Cat. I don't like Mike. People call me Bit. I think so. Probably something like Bit Cat. I don't know.
Hey, all right, there you go. You heard it here first. The Bit Cat.
Big Cat. Hey, two T's though. A lot of people like to write
Yeah.
Bit with T, but there's two T's in there.
All right, there you go. Bit with two T's, the Bit Cat. I like it.
There you go.
That's
He's
all
going
I
to
got.
go in at Wildcat one Saturday, and me and you are going to be texting each other.
The Bit Cat. It's the Bit Cat.
Then we're going to text Michael after the game and be
Mhm.
like, But,
Absolutely.
That's
So-
all I got. Do you got anything else, Nick?
well, yeah, I just want to talk about some things, if you don't mind, some
Yeah.
Tennessee football stuff.
For sure.
So, not to disrespect any program, but you guys open up the year home against Bowling Green, home against Pitt, and home against Tennessee Tech.
Yeah.
Now, I think that's a great opportunity for you guys to start the season 3-0 going into Gainesville in week 4.
Absolutely. And, I think we're all looking forward to that. And especially, we moved up our home opener to the Thursday, so September 2nd. It's a Thursday night. And really just, I think it's part of it, not to talk for my coaching staff, but
Yeah.
media coverage of this new team. Because our team is fully new branded. It's a totally different offense, a style that the SEC doesn't see much. I mean, when Coach Hype was at Missouri, they did it a little bit. But, it's a fast-paced offense that has had a lot of success at UCF, obviously. And, the AAC, that's good football. I mean, you have Cincinnati, who's a great team.
Yep.
And Cincinnati and UCF used to go, neck and neck. So it's a fun offense that I think is going to catch people off guard that teams are going to have a hard time to prepare for because nobody else runs that offense. And
For sure.
Us, our defense gets to go up against our offense every day. So we're going to have that, defense that can, go at a fast pace, can communicate quick. And so the game is going to slow down for them. So, it's going to be a fun brand. So I think we're all looking forward to that home opener. Obviously, Bowling Green, they're a great program. They've had some success. Pitt, obviously, is going to be, tough. They're in the ACC.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee Tech, no game in college football is a given.
Yeah.
And those are 3 games that we're all looking forward to, and we're going to take it, we're going to focus on Bowling Green, hopefully get a dub, and then move on to the next week and just kind of take it week by week, figure out what we need to do, and kind of go from there. And obviously, once you get in the SEC, staying healthy is huge. So if we can get through those first 3 games as healthy as possible, that's also a huge part of this.
Yeah, and that's why I prefaced it with not to disrespect anyone. I'm not saying you guys are going to be 3-0. Nothing is guaranteed, but I think it's a great opportunity heading into Gainesville because let's face it, you don't want to head into Gainesville or Tuscaloosa or Georgia banged up, maybe low morale. Football and sports in general, but college football is all about momentum, confidence, kind of sticking together. So I think listen, I'm not a Tennessee football fan, but I was doing my research last night preparing for this interview, and I'm almost excited for Tennessee football now.
Yeah. And I think, when we have, speakers come in and talk to us, motivational people, obviously all of us, we want to get Tennessee back to where it is, but having all these outside, people come in, they're like, college football is a lot more fun when Tennessee is good because they were a powerhouse back in the day.
Absolutely.
When Dobbs was here, I mean, that SEC was so much fun. I didn't grow up a Tennessee fan. I grew up in Cincinnati. I grew up a diehard Bearcat fan. I hate Ohio State, whatever. That's my blood. I didn't necessarily enjoy any of the SEC schools.
Yeah.
But now that I'm here, you understand how dominant this, conference is and how much fun it is to be a part of it. And when everybody's good, like when you have, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, South Carolina, when all those teams are good and beating up on each other, that makes college football a lot more fun, and it makes better when it comes to the playoffs, bowl games, when you want to watch your, the people that you play against succeed, because it makes your conference so much better. So I think we're really looking forward to getting this program back to where it belongs and getting SEC back to even being more dominant, in the future.
Amen to that.
Amen to that. Yeah. Where's your favorite? I know you haven't necessarily played yet, as you said, but where's your favorite place? Just the first 2 years off the top of your head. Where do you like to go?
And no need to pander and say Tuscaloosa. It's all right.
Well, honestly, in my opinion, I don't think there's anything like game day in Knoxville. You have the Vol Navy down on the river. You have the Vol Walk that we get to walk through. You get to see some crazy things. And when that stadium is packed and they're singing Rocky Top for the 100th time, that's stuff. So obviously I'm going to say, here in Neyland is, especially at night when we played Georgia my freshman year, Neyland at night was something, because, I never came down for a game. I never got to experience Neyland at all until
really?
My first game running through the tee. And I remember telling my dad, I was texting my dad before the game, and he was like, "Are you excited?" I'm like, "I just hope I don't fall while running through the tee," because you get nervous and stuff. You might trip over your own feet. I'm like, falls down in the middle of the tee. So getting to experience running through that tee for the first time, it's such a jaw-dropping moment, and it's something that's so special to me. Like, I came down here knowing nothing about Tennessee history. I didn't know, I knew Peyton Manning went here, and I knew some, basic stuff as a college football fan. But since I've been down here, you're probably not going to find a bigger Tennessee fan now than me. Like, I have just embraced this university, and I'm a Neyland, a fanatic pretty much. It's been
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But
That's awesome.
Some of the other places are cool. Obviously, Tuscaloosa was pretty cool. We went down there and visited there. It's almost like a pro football stadium, the way it's kind of set up, where ours is
huge.
Coliseum. We like to think, kind of like Romans and stuff. We're kind of like glad. But yeah, yours is cool too. It's
It's all
modern.
right. Yeah.
It's all right. Yeah.
Right. It's nothing like
Now,
not
if
but
is that, and we'll just we're 5 more minutes. We're not going to keep you all day, but is you can be honest, right? Please be honest with us. Is Alabama your most hated as a new Tennessee diehard? What's the rivalry like? Are we number one in that regard? Who do you really circle when the schedule comes out, and who do you guys just not like? Obviously, Alabama's one of them.
Personally, for me, I have a lot of friends that go to Kentucky from Cincinnati, so I personally hate Kentucky the most.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you guys are at Kentucky on November 6th.
Hey.
Yeah. So obviously, I grew up hating Kentucky just because of where I'm from.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I'm down here, I hate them even more. Sorry, hate's a strong word. I strongly dislike Kentucky. Hopefully there's not many Kentucky fans coming for my neck after this. But no, obviously, because I have a lot of friends down there, getting to beat up on their school is something that I look forward to doing. But it's a pretty equal dislike for a lot of schools. Obviously, we have great respect for all of them. But, Georgia, Florida, Bama, even Vandy. Vandy is your in-state rival, so it's
that's true. Yeah,
we know about in-state rivals. Yeah.
But I don't know. I can't really. I guess personally for me it would be Kentucky, but I guess for different people but each week it's like when we go into Florida, it's definitely Florida that week. Like we're not thinking beating up on Alabama. So I don't know. That's a tough question. That if you ask me each week, it probably changes. But
it would be each week. Yeah, 1 week it's Bowling Green, 1 week it's Florida. I get it.
Every week is team hate week. It's you either hate Bowling Green, you hate Bama, you hate Florida, you hate Georgia.
Absolutely. But I will stand to this. I've never been an Ohio State fan. I will root for my buddies that play on Ohio State. I hope they do well, but I am not an Ohio State fan. Never have been. Never will.
That's fair. Funny enough, you might dislike this, but my dad. So this is funny. I've been born and raised in the South. My mother's from Salem, Alabama, middle of nowhere. My dad is from Findlay, Ohio, right?
There you go, Finland.
Grew up an Ohio State fan. Went to Cincinnati for college.
Yeah. Yeah, you get some, as long as you're not a Xavier fan, 'cause like I said, I grew up a huge Cincinnati Bearcat fan. There's nothing worse than a Xavier fan. Because Xavier is, the in-city rival, I guess. I mean, technically they're from Norwood. They're not even from Cincinnati. They try to say like it's our city, but on their location it's Norwood, not even Cincinnati. So, yeah, there's nothing more. I mean, it's probably Xavier than Ohio State, for me personally.
Yeah.
That's just
Last question from me, and I think from the group, if you don't mind. We're hearing talks about it. I don't know how much you follow as far as ESPN and all this stuff, but we're hearing a lot about it. What do you think, and what is your opinion on perhaps an expanded playoffs, maybe 8 teams, 12 teams, whatever the case may be, just as a college football player yourself?
Yeah, no, I think it would be. I mean, like how the playoffs are now, it's great. Obviously, it's tough to get into that 4-team spot.
It's really, I mean, not to
Yeah,
cut you off. I'm sorry. It's
no,
just,
you're
it's
good.
very, I like, competition. I want to see everyone compete. And when you have a 14 playoff, especially in college football with recruiting today, it's really a 2-team playoff a lot of times. We could probably pencil in 2, and I'll let you finish your answer, but it's a little ridiculous.
Yeah, and there's a lot of teams that are probably deserving of those 4 spots, and I think an expansion is probably good for college football. Not necessarily that they are going to do it, but if it goes to 8 or 16 teams, I think that gives a lot of teams an opportunity to play against different competition that they don't get to play against. For example, like I said, I still follow Cincinnati. Like I'm still a fan of their team. And people thought they were going to get slaughtered by Georgia, but it shows that a team that plays in a group of 5 conference like Cincinnati can hang with a tough team in Georgia. And it's really,
Yes.
as long as you're playing your best football at the end of the year, you never know what's going to happen. It's almost like not saying like something crazy like college basketball. That's a little bit different, but there are things that can happen. And if you're playing your best football at the right time and you're healthy,
Yes.
there's no doubt that different things could happen if the playoffs got expanded, which I think would be more fun. I think there'd be more hype around it because like you kind of said, the last few years it's kind of been like the same 3 or 4 teams in the playoffs, and there's just not much variety where like college basketball, at least there's different teams making it. Obviously there's a 64
And look
team.
what happens. You always get a few teams in there late who you're like, wow, look at this. You don't get that in
UCLA.
football,
I think the good thing that could come out of a playoff extension for college football is those different types of matchups. I mean, like instead of seeing Clemson and Alabama playing each other every year, you can see different teams that never play each other, 2 different fan bases, and that's just something that I think
Yep.
is great for the business of college football. And I'm not even saying benefiting us. For if like college football wants to bring in revenue, it's bringing different teams in that never play each other from different sides of the country, different conferences. That is a totally different dynamic, and you can create such new rivalries that
Yep.
grow in the future. So I think I think something that they should proceed into looking into. Obviously, that's a decision that they can make, but I think it would be a lot of fun to see some of those teams that don't usually get those opportunities to play against whoever it may be when it comes to those college football playoffs.
So if you had to choose a matchup that you would love to see in a CFP, who would it be?
Well, obviously us. I don't. That's a really good question. I would love to play Cincinnati.
Oh yeah.
Kind of a home rivalry for me, playing against some of the buddies I played against. Obviously, I'd love the chance to take on Ohio State. I think my mom personally would like to see us versus Notre Dame. She was a huge Notre Dame fan growing up. Kyle Rudolph, he went to my high school. We're good family friends. So
Okay.
in that rivalry would be fun.
He's in New York now.
Yeah, he's the Giants.
He's in New York now. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I don't know. There's a lot of different teams that I would love the chance to play against, but I would definitely have to say, with Cincinnati, going home and playing playing there or bringing them down here. I think that's something I might need to talk to our coaching staff about future. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, we'll make a little bit of a run, and hopefully, we'll be in those last four teams this upcoming year.
All right. This is the last question. This is actually the last one. I know we said that a couple times, but this
Hey,
is the
you're
last
good.
one.
Got nothing to do today.
Is there anything you want to say? So my godparents are actually huge Volunteer fans. Is there
Maybe.
anything you want to say to Volunteer fans out there?
Oh man, well, there's a lot of them out there. I would just say stay the course. Keep supporting us, and we have some big things coming, not just on the field but off the field in the future. So stay tuned. Yeah, I think Vol fans are going to be very excited for these next few years when it comes to certain attributes of how we play and how we look. I'll give a hint out there about what's coming or coming back, I should say.
All right.
Yeah. Don't say anything more. You'll give away your playbook.
Exactly. Got it right here. Play once.
But I'll let Matt take us out. But before that, I just want to say thanks so much for coming on the show. Thanks so much for responding to me so quickly. It really means a lot to us. You're one of our first now with these new rules and everything. So just a good luck to you. Thanks again. It's gonna be a rocking house this year now that the COVID restrictions are over.
Thank God.
You have a lot to look forward to. And hopefully we'll be in touch and maybe sometime we could do this again. But
Yeah.
good luck with Barstool. What's that?
All right, I had to cut you off, but I greatly appreciate you reaching out to me. Obviously, like I said, this is a new era for athletes, and
Yeah.
if it wasn't for people like you taking the chance on us, obviously this team would get nowhere. So I wish you guys much success. Hopefully, you guys get a lot of different athletes on here to tell their story, and I'm just grateful to be kind of a part of this, piece of this puzzle. So
Thank you. I mean,
it's been a lot of fun.
that means the world. Like I said, I'm gonna repeat it a million times. We're so grateful to have guys like you on the show. Just to come on, share your story, and give us a little bit of a background. So good luck to you. Good luck with Barstool Athletics. And good luck. Hey, good luck with Dave Portnoy. Like we said on the show, everything the guy touches goes to gold. So I think you're making a good decision, and I think you have a bright future ahead of you on and off the field.
Thank you, and as always, go Vols.
All right. Thank you so much to Michael Bittner for joining us for today's episode of the Nick and Nash podcast. Remember, watch out for the BitCat next year. You might just see something. And so, without any further ado, we bid you adieu. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you all next time.
Thanks, guys.